Every type of cyber attack explained. Phishing. This is the oldest trick in the hacker playbook, and honestly, it still works better than almost anything else out there. Phishing is when someone sends you a message, usually an email or a text, pretending to be a person or company you already trust, your bank, your boss, sometimes even a delivery service you actually use. The message is built to rush you. It says your account's been locked, or your package couldn't be delivered, or there's a payment that failed and needs fixing right now. You click the link without thinking twice, and it drops you onto a website that looks exactly like the real one. Same logo, same layout, same everything. The second you type in your username and password there, it's already gone. No malware, no hacking skills required. Just a convincing lie and someone in a hurry. And these days, the messages aren't even that easy to spot anymore. The grammar's cleaned up, the logos are pixel perfect, and some attackers even personalize the message using details they've pulled from your social media without you ever noticing. Malware. Malware is basically the umbrella term for any software that's built to cause damage, and it comes in a lot more shapes than people expect. It can slip in through a downloaded file, a cracked app, a random USB drive someone plugged in without thinking. Once it's sitting on your device, it can start stealing your data, watching what you type, or quietly using your system's power for something you never agreed to. And the scary part is, some of it doesn't do anything obvious right away. It just sits there, watching, collecting information for weeks or months before the person behind it decides to actually act. And a lot of it doesn't even need you to click anything sketchy. Sometimes it's hiding inside a browser extension you installed years ago and completely forgot about. Ransomware. Think of ransomware as malware's louder, more aggressive cousin. Where regular malware tries to hide, ransomware wants you to know it's there. It locks up every file it can reach, your photos, your work documents, sometimes an entire hospital's patient records, and then it demands money to hand the key back. This isn't some rare thing either. Hospitals, schools, city governments, even police departments have been hit, and some have paid out millions just trying to get their own systems working again. And even after paying, there's genuinely no guarantee the attacker gives the files back at all. Some victims pay the full amount and just never hear from the attacker again, which tells you a lot about who you're actually dealing with in these situations. Distributed denial of service. A DDoS attack isn't about stealing anything, it's about breaking things on purpose. The attacker floods a website or server with a massive wave of fake traffic, way more requests than it could ever realistically handle, until the whole thing slows to a crawl or just falls over completely. Picture 10,000 people trying to cram through one narrow doorway at the same exact second. Nobody actually gets through, and the doorway itself basically stops functioning. That's what happens to a server during one of these attacks, except it's happening to thousands of real users trying to load a page at once. Some of these attacks even come with a demand attached, basically pay us or the site stays down, which turns the whole thing into a kind of digital extortion. Man in the middle. This one's unsettling because you genuinely have no way of noticing it in the moment. It happens when someone quietly places themselves between you and whatever you're connecting to, a website, an app, a Wi-Fi network. Public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or airport is the classic setup for this. While you're sitting there thinking you're just casually browsing, the attacker could be intercepting everything passing through, your messages, your login details, even your card number if you're checking out somewhere. You'd have absolutely no way of knowing they were ever in the middle of it. It's part of why a lot of security folks will tell you to just avoid logging into anything sensitive on public networks altogether, since you're basically handing a stranger a front row seat. SQL Injection. This attack skips people entirely and goes straight for the website itself. A lot of websites run on databases behind the scenes, and if that site wasn't built with proper security in mind, an attacker can type specially crafted text, disguised as something totally normal, right into a search bar or a login box. That input tricks the database into spitting out information it was never supposed to reveal, usernames, passwords, sometimes entire customer lists. It's less about manipulating a person's trust and more about exploiting a mistake buried somewhere in the code. And the frustrating part is, this kind of flaw has been known about for decades, yet it still shows up in real websites because someone, somewhere, skipped a basic security check. Zero-day exploit. Out of everything on this list, this is the one that genuinely worries security professionals the most. A zero-day is a flaw in software that even the people who built it don't know exists yet. That means there's no patch, no fix, no warning label, nothing. Whoever finds that flaw first can use it freely until the company eventually notices something's wrong and scrambles to fix it. These vulnerabilities are so valuable that they're actually traded and sold on underground markets, sometimes for genuinely staggering amounts of money. Some governments even buy them quietly, which tells you these flaws aren't just a hacker problem, they're a whole industry of their own. Social engineering. This last one is the human version of hacking, and it might honestly be the most dangerous entry on this entire list. Instead of breaking through code or firewalls, the attacker just works on a person directly. They might call pretending to be tech support, show up dressed like a delivery driver, or spend weeks slowly building trust with someone before ever asking for anything at all. And that's really the core problem with security in general. Most of the time, the weakest link isn't the software protecting a system, it's the person sitting in front of it. And that's exactly why some of the biggest breaches in history didn't involve a single line of malicious code, just one convincing phone call to the right employee. So that covers all 8. If this helped you spot a few red flags, hit like and subscribe to TechXplainer for more videos just like this one.